Right, should be live. Right, let's go. So, this, first of all, this is just my screen, my naked chart here. This is US30. You can see it's just a 1 hour chart, nothing's been done yet. If it wants to load a little bit more, it'll be good. It's fine, we don't need to go that far back. So, what we can see, we have this big push down. Nothing's loading, sorry. Wait there, let me refresh this. Open your window. Okay, right, that should be it. Just check. Yeah, okay. So, this is just a naked chart here on US30. See, we're on a nice downtrend, big downtrend, this impulse move. This is what I'll first identify, my 1 hour structure, and we've got it coming down here. Okay, so first thing I will do is I will find my supply and demand zone. So what I will do is I'll head over to my indicators, and I'll look for this. Delete all these. I'll look for this volume profile fixed range. So that's the first thing, the first indicator you will need on your charts. So I'll grab that. And that'll be this will be your volume profile. So I did post this in the strategy section. So all this volume profile is the volume from this impulse move from the top to the bottom of this impulse move. So what we can see is the live stream work for everyone. Can they see your charts? Can everyone see my charts okay? Yeah? Fair enough. You see it? You all good? You see it now? Okay. I'll stop the stream and I will start that again. Let me know if you can see that now. I've not moved, by the way, can you see this moving now? Yeah. Okay. Right, so I'll delete this. Right, so first thing I did was my 1 hour, my impulse moves, my big moves was this. This was my moves here. It's the first thing I looked for. You can see that clearly. Second thing, I'll come up to my indicators and I'll add this. It's called the volume profile fixed range. So you just click on that. You can save it on your favorites. Just exit off it, and you take it from the impulse move from the top to the bottom of that impulse move. So once you've found that your impulse move, this basically gives you a stronger confluence of where your supply and demand areas are. So you can see here, this is an area with not a lot of orders. We've also got imbalance in that area. So that can give us a nice indication that if price decides to come down, we could have used that. Without this indicator, we could have used this as your supply and demand area. That could have been an area you could have used as supply and demand. But with this volume indicator, we can see that there's a lot of imbalance under here. There's not a lot of volume, so that means there's liquidity in these areas because people are entering these, keeping their stops below here, targeting wherever, somewhere up here. A lot of people are doing, a lot of retail traders. So what we will find is if price does start to come down like here, we will see this will come down. Might go up first, but when it does come down, it might come down, bounce off the supply and demand, and then continue down to liquidate these areas here before either continuing up further or coming but further down. So that was that indicator here that you can see. There was a big order block here. You see the volume is very high, and you can see the volume's quite low there, and this would be your order block here. So, and you can see the volume that's been in this push down. So you can see there's this imbalance here. You can see that this could have been a supply and demand area that you used, but now using this volume indicator, you can see there's actually an imbalance under there, and very low volume, which means to me, I would then now class this as my supply and demand area on my 1 hour. So I'll mark that up as my 1 hour supply and demand. This would be here, because again, you could have used that, but now with this, you can see that wouldn't be useful because of the imbalance and because of the liquidity that will be under this move here, this price move here. There'll be a lot of liquidity under that for people buying in and pushing price up. So what else we can see is a lot of volume in these areas. Not so much here, but you can see the strength in these volume, and then also again this would be another order block here. You can see that the volume compared the volume on this compared to the other two, so you can see that volume is very low here and here, which means there was a strong move here that pushed price down. So there is a possibility, if price does decide to come back up, that could be an area that you could be looking to potentially sell from, because there'll be a strong order block. There's a lot of volume in here because of all this movement here. So I would expect price to come up into around that area. That's a 1 hour chart. We're hopping a little deeper. This could possibly be an area that price somewhere around here, price bounces off of. Somewhere in this area here, just a large area that price bounces off of, comes down, maybe bounces back off this before continuing higher, or it may continue lower depending on the news and stuff like that. But overall, we are looking for sales. As you can see, a nice strong downtrend. So this could be an area here that price could look to come up, come down a little bit. But I would like to see price come all the way up here to liquidate these areas here. You can see the very low volume in these areas. The imbalance as well. That'll be my imbalance area. You can see this area here. If I move it along, this imbalance, which can be shown in the volume, which could be another area that price could come up to, bounce off of, and then come up to liquidate these areas. People might be using this as a supply and demand area here. We could probably see price hit it, react before coming up, liquidating them, taking the imbalance before a nice strong move down. So that's what we're looking for on this chart here. As well as that, you can hop into your 5-minute charts and you can look for these impulse moves. Like I'll show you here. So in these US 30 charts, just show an example. We'll bring the volume profile fixed range again. We'll take it from the impulse up, down. What we can see here is this area is your strong orders in here, which you see get react to nicely. You see it comes up, breaks the orders, fills. See where price comes up to here. You see price comes in, taps in to your imbalance, your low volume areas before actually move it down to there. Yeah. So you see that people can be used that as your strong supply and demand areas that price has rejected off of before. You see it comes up, breaks that, comes into your low, your liquidated area, your areas that need liquidated before falling again. So this is why you can use this on your 5-minute time frame as well. We'll go over it again. We'll find another. This is quite a strong impulse down here. What we look for. Even here, let's have a look. What we'll probably find is very low volume in these areas. Indicators, the volume profile, take it from this move to this. This didn't really break structure, in fact, so yeah. So you can see these strong thing here. See the low volume kind of comes up into that and then pushes down, but that wouldn't be a good example because it didn't break structure down the low, so I wouldn't use that. We'll find a better example. Again, US30 is a little bit different because it does move mostly on fundamentals. So we'll find a better impulse. Maybe we'll go on a different chart and we'll find it for GU, but you don't want to use it on the for US30. So you don't want to use it on the lower time frames really, because you see price never really holds a nice structure. Sometimes it does. It'll make impulse moves, but it won't really. It'll make pullbacks, but the pullbacks won't be into specific zones really. You can see it just runs. Maybe here you can see it does before continuing away higher, but I'd like to use the higher time frames on US30 to find my areas and price react off of that. We'll hop into again gold because of it's not really. Maybe we'll see, but because of that news, it rocketed gold. But we'll try it on this now. Volume. We can see our supply and demand areas will be up here anyway. We can kind of test that. We'll pull this down. You can see so it won't really work on moves like this because you see the volume is so low. We'll do it on a 1 hour chart on GU. In fact, I did it here. Don't know what I did here. We'll go into GU that are more stable. Everything's just crashed this week, hasn't it? Oh my god. Right, we'll hop back on this time frame. So we'll see this is the area here. It broke. We'll use our impulse. Where is it? No, it's indicator. Right, yeah. Okay. Hop into the lower time frames and we'll do it. It's a bit easier. We won't use this big drop because that didn't really count. We'll use our impulse here. Indicators. I'm just learning this as well, so we're just going along how it is. Just showing you all. It's kind of broke. Yeah. Okay. So you see price here. The areas price pushes up, comes down, kind of holds this area here, this top. As we can see, we've got highs, so might actually be better using this as a higher one here. We'll drag this from here actually to up here. We'll see it from here. It's not working. Sorry. Take it from the big impulse. So take it from down here all the way up to our highs. We can see these high areas, very low volume up here. This is where the price, but you can see this strong area here, which indicates that there's a lot of orders in these areas. Again, down here there's little to none, which could show you that price could potentially look to come down here to fill, which you see it does here. Obviously news has affected that as well, but you can see a lot of orders getting placed in here, imbalance in here. You can see that when price comes up, taps in to that imbalance, comes down past that imbalance, finds an area, pushes back up, and then comes down again, comes back up, comes back down. So that's just another way you can kind of use Confluence. I've got a video in the strategy section. I've not really tested it myself properly. This is me the first time kind of go over that. Again, we'll just go over our actual market structure for now. On plays I'll kind of be looking for this week. See how US30. I'd like to see it just keep continuing lower. I'd like to come in into one of these areas here before pushing back down. I don't think it will continue going up with this news or whatever this news. Also, we've got a lot of imbalance here overall. I'm probably quite bullish on gold right now. Probably see it come up back up to these highs. That was a trade that I was doing on a live. No, I was doing on a one-on-one. Sorry. On Friday, just before news, missed it, unbelievable, beautiful trade. It was simply a supply and demand area on the 1 minute. I'll hop into it actually and show you. It was brilliant trade. I find it. Where is it? I'll type it in my pass it now. Simple supply and demand that we were using on the 1 minute after finding my areas on the 15 and the 1 hour chart. So I think around about this area there was previous highs somewhere. This is the 1 minute, so I won't be able to find it, but I think around this area was previous highs, so that was my target. You can see it was just a simple supply and demand area where for my last push down, I knew the price was going to go up, tapped into it, and then I got a signal from another person. I ended up deleting that chat now because I don't want to hear other people's signals, because this would have been a beautiful 186 to 1 risk to reward. This would have been, and obviously the news has pushed that a lot, but I mean, that's crazy numbers. That's not like doubling, tripling your account in one trade. It was NFT Ike I was on a live call with, just going over supply and demand areas. You see price does come up. This was what I marked. This following the trend. I'm not trying to predict the tops or anything. Again, this was an area I had marked out where you see that price does react and then news comes out and blows it. But this was an area here that I had marked as a high previously. So you see prices continuing higher. And we see this break of structure. We see the pullback. I found my supply and demand area, that my pullback. I think my first target, it was just a simple target. Stops are there. My targets were up here for my first for a 10. So even at that was a, I think it was something like that, nearly a 10 risk to reward. We see price taps in to that area and then off it goes on a buy for crazy numbers. Still annoyed at that, but anyway, you can see this happens on, once you identify that on the higher time frames. You can see that it happens on the 1 minute quite a lot when it's making a steady uptrend. You see price comes down here, creates a high. So this is my supply and demand area in the 1 minute, taps into that supply and demand. That could have been your buy, and again off it goes. That's news, but even here, you see price pushes up, creates a high here, creates that break of structure. That break of structure here breaks that structure, just comes back down. That could have been another entry for you. Back into a 1 minute supply and demand area, taps in, buy in again, pushes up, creates a new high, creates a new low, creates a new high again, comes back, taps into that low, boom, off it goes again. Again, there's so many entries. Go for another one. Price. Now, with this, I don't count as a wick as a break. So, see price is coming up. Still not tapped into my area, so that's fine. So if price doesn't hold this will be my second demand area here, my second supply and demand area, because this is my low. See price taps into that low, and then off it goes again. We'll go over further ones. Now this is a 1 minute, so again you're kind of wanting to find confluence on a higher time frame. This is it's a downtrend for now. Yeah, you see this break of structure. This would be, and then it continue to push up to create new lows. So after this happens here, after it breaks, this break of structure here, if it breaks this structure here, and then creates a high to make a new low, then I'll be looking for sells. So again, where are my sells? My last push up before my push down, taps in, goes further. So what I seen here was, just from looking at this straight away, you can see a break of structure, you see a pullback, so you're still doing nothing right now. You're waiting to see what price does. Creates a new low, taps in again. You can either take a trade there, or there, whatever, sell it down. But again, now you need to remember, this area now, because you see it hit 5 times this area. What does that mean? That means that there's liquidity above here, because this is an area here that people are selling into hard, which means there is liquidity in these areas. So we can see price, before deciding to push up, taps into that liquidity, pushes further down first, and then makes a new high. So what we'll actually try here is a volume range, see what this says, because I think this will say the exact same things. I'm thinking tap it down into there. Yeah, see, so this, you see the volume's very low here, and then here volume's high. This is your area, which again shows it taps into multiple times. This is your area. You see the very low volume here, which shows you that there'll be a lot of liquidity in this area. The price would want to come up to break it before either continuing lower or creating a low first. You see this again. This is relatively low. This area here, we'll just use this here. See, this area here is relatively low compared to the other ones around it, which shows there's again imbalance or liquidity in that area, which there was here, and here. This is your liquidity that was getting pushed, comes down. This could be an area for you that looks that price wants to kind of bounce off of, just either break, as you can see here, hold just below it, and then decide to push up, whatever your bias is. Again, this would be an overall up. So that would be an area that I'd be looking for price to come into, see what it does, because we do have that low volume area that price could potentially look to tap into, or just a little bit lower before pushing up, which we can see here. That's kind of the straightforwardness for that. See, look how far GU dropped, opened. So again, there's this possibility. I thought GU would go lower. I called that months ago. I think because of looking at the daily chart, you can see the strong moves down. Where is price looking to break? The price is looking to break these lows to continue this downtrend, which we have seen price do right now. So there is a high possibility price does continue down to break these lows before we'll probably see price come down, break these lows, come back up to fill that imbalance, to then potentially come down to continue making lows. Again, that's really just from looking at market structure. I've not even had to look into price. I've just been able to see, okay, we're going down. This is from March 21. You don't need to look any further than that. You see that continuation down, that we can see price is looking to keep creating lows, which you see again. This is the daily chart now. Supply and demand happens on every chart. The last push up before the push down. Price holds that area, taps into it, continues down. So what we'll actually probably see, because of this area, is we'll probably see price come back up. When it does, we'll probably see price come back up further, up to here, to take out that liquidity, because that would have been an area. So you see the sales, there'll be a lot of orders in there. We'll actually see if that's the case. Probably a lot of orders in that area. We'll just take price from here to here. Yeah, you see the orders, the amount of orders that are in this area here. This would be your area. You see this strong move, you're looking for price to come down and break that, as you can see. And now you've got this area here with very low volume, this potential area here that's your order block that's pushed this down. Your liquidation is again above these areas, and we're looking for price. Eventually this might take a while to come down and then come back into these areas to create a lower high, potentially to continue this back down. So it's as simple as kind of looking at that. As it's Sunday night, you won't really see much setups tonight, but again, you can see that just last night, just on Friday there, your your supply and demand areas, your pushes. We'll see here from this impulse here. Take this again, our volume. We'll take it from this impulse down, from here to, we'll just call it here. Yeah. So you see the very low volume here. This is just from there to there. See, price comes in. This would be your order block. This small, move price, move it. You see, this massive, this strong candle. This will be your area that price isn't really looking to break. As you can see, price just taps that area, comes down, comes back up again. You can see that strong imbalance. You see that low volume down here as well. You see price has broke that now, but again, now we can see it from this perspective. We could take it from, so there's so many, you kind of want to take it from the impulses. You can see, yeah, this is Friday, so it will be a little bit dead. I'm trying to see if I can delete this. Yeah, you see the volume in this area. This is just from that move there. Price comes down, holds that area, that high volume, comes back up into your now supply and demand area, which you could then short down if this was another day. Again, price does open quite low. I don't know how it's opened on other pairs. It's not opened yet, it's 11 I think on them pairs. Yeah, CGU, massive move. So that's kind of how I'll look at it. I'll make a video on this once I've learned more about this volume thing, but it's just, it can help with your supply and demand areas if you're looking for areas that have got, so if you're looking at a move down, if you're looking at that, looking for price to come create, this is actually a good example here. So this, you would be looking, this would be an area you could potentially look for imbalance, for your supply and demand. You can see this imbalance here, this low volume, which you can also see the low volume up here. So if in the case that price does come up, that could be a potential for price to react off that, but then keep continuing higher into this area here, this order block. You can see the strength. You see there's not much imbalance above it. All the imbalances here have now been cleared on the way up. If it does come up, people will be shorting in there, but again, you can realise now there's imbalance in these areas. Price will now potentially a lot more chance that price will want to come up to clear the imbalances before creating that new low. So we can probably see this week, possibly our next GJ, potentially creeping up into these areas before then continuing down. If it does want to, so that would be an area, that would be a supply and demand area that I'd want to target. Again, you could use them, but now you're looking up, you see the low volume, you see the imbalance. More than often, price would want to fill that before coming down. Probably see, more than likely see GG come back up into these areas before, if it does want to continue down, then do that. That's what I would potentially look to see price to do this week or next. You can see we're on a nice downtrend. Just see if there's any more pairs or any questions you want answered. Just put it in the comment, put it in the Discord. See if I can. Sorry, my phone just cut out, so just connecting back. Phone has to connect. Sorry. Right, If there are any other questions, just let me know. We'll probably find here and just use this again. Go back onto the strategy section button, you'll look and you can see the area. Again, you can see here the imbalance, the low volume, and your strong volume here. This would be your order block. You found your supply and demand in that order block. Price taps in. You can take a sell down to here again. That could have been your sell. This is on the 1 hour again, so you'll be able to find these areas on the one. Now, the 1 minute a little bit easier. It's a 6 risk to reward. Again, if you're on the 1 minute or whatever, you'll be able to find a better entry on them. But just using the 1 minute or the 1 hour or the 15, you can find these areas of your strong volume areas that are in your supply and demand, which could be a strong confluence that that area will want to hold to push price down further. That would be an area that I would be looking for price to come down. So it's just another confluence on your supply and demand, stuff like that, that you can use. I will be bringing this week when I'm doing my signals. I'll be using more 1-to-1s. I'll be doing more 1-to-1s and stuff like that, risk to rewards, so that people do have the chance to actually enter that. Again, there's this strong area that's been held. Potentially in the future, price could come up and tap into the liquidation areas, potentially come down further. There's been a massive drop off on most pairs this week, so it's going to be a little bit different. I'll be keeping it a little bit cautious this week because of the news, and the news can affect most charts really dramatically. If you are kind of looking for scalps, I'll probably be doing more scalps on US30 this week, potentially. Again, you see it doesn't happen often on US30, but when it does, it works out. Nice supply and demand on the 5 minute. Taps in, away it goes. Here again, taps in, away it goes. Again, higher here, taps in, away it goes up. So again, when you do have that opportunity to scalp on the 5, you'll probably find it easier to scalp on the 1. Yeah, you see there's so much opportunities on the 1. The last push down, there's your area, taps in, away it goes again. So there is so much potential on US30 on the 1 minute to look for your supply and demand areas. Even here, you could scalp this. Don't have to, because it's US30, you don't need to hold it for long. You see taps into this last push down. I wouldn't really class that because it's not broke any highs. Again, you see when it hasn't broke highs and it's created that, you could potentially be looking for actual sales. So you see this price moves up here, creates a high, but then what it does is it comes and it breaks these lows. You see that break of structure. You then see price come up, fill the imbalance, comes back down, comes back up into this area here, this last push, before making lows. Again, this is in the 1 minute, probably an uptrend. Yeah, strong uptrend. So even on the 1 hour, the 1 minute, if you can find these areas and be quick with it, then you're able to scalp this even anyway. Again, you see it's push up, creating highs, push down now, it's holding, creates a new high, comes down. Where does it come down to? Your last push down before that push up that created the new high. Taps in, there's your buy signal. There you go, you're buying in. You can either buy in on the second candle if that's what you want to do. Buy in on the second candle, stops can be just below, targeting back up here for a 2.4, or you can put it before the high like that, before the bottom of the candle, and target here for your first, and just let the rest run. You can see it runs to 7.5, but it's just simply using your supply and demand areas in the 1 minute. That's what I will do if I am trading US30. I'll probably use my supply and demand on the 1. Again, you see this push up, here that breaks previous highs. You break a structure, or your break at your high. Once it does that, what does it do? Taps into your last push down. It's a big push down. You can just use it. Taps into that last push down. Away it goes again. Again here, you could potentially use this if you want. Taps in, even at wicks, but as long as it kind of stays in that area, you can see. I think price, yeah, so just about stays in, and then pushes further up. See this, you can even. It's just there's so many opportunities on this that you can take on US30 if you are looking to scalp it. So many little small supply and demand areas, and then it kind of dies off Friday afternoon. But you're just kind of looking for these supply and demand areas on that. Again, here breaks that structure, goes back down into your supply and demand. So the key thing with your supply and demand is finding your structure and finding the breaks of it. You can see it's creating new lows. Boom. take these lows, these lower highs get broke here, then what are you expecting? Once you see price come up here and break these lower highs, now as soon as you see that, you're marking up your last push down before your push up. As soon as you see that, that's what you're looking for. So you push down, you pull back, you push down, you pull back, boom, the pullback's broke. Right, now we know overall we are in an uptrend. This could potentially start, that push down could have potentially been just a pullback. This could be the start of your push up. So there you go, you're risking 0.5%, let's just say. Stops are just below, just to keep yourself safe. 12 stop. Your first target back at these highs. You can see it gets to these highs, creates a pullback, breaks these highs now, and then uses that pullback as support. As you can see, it comes back up into this exact level. You can see here, comes back, creates a double top. For retail traders, that could be a double top for price to push down. But now we're looking, we already know structure's been broke. We know overall we're in an uptrend. People are looking at this as a double top, starts coming down, starts to push down. People are right, selling. Boom, creates its own support, creates a new high, comes back down into that support, and then continues higher to finish off the day. So if you can really understand, even use your arrows to find your areas here. To find them areas. Use your arrows. You don't need to be this thick. I've just kept them this thick just so that you can all see them. But see, even if you keep them one thickness, you can just see them, and then you can identify every time a new high and low. This is what you want to kind of do. Every time a new high and low gets created, do this. There's my high. That's my protected high. If this wants to keep continuing down, okay, now you start to see it move up. This is the low you want to break. That'll be your two areas and price that you're looking at. That'll be pull price back here. So this, yeah, brilliant. So now we're seeing, first thing we see is our break of structure here. So now what we're looking for when we're seeing that is, we're looking, even on the way up here, we're looking for a highs and lows. So that'll be our first low until this gets broke. Right, that's been broke. Created a new low. Okay, this is our low, this is our high. Overall, we're wanting price to come back up and break these highs. So on this overall uptrend, so this you can keep as your highs that price eventually will want to come and break. As soon as you see this come down, break this structure here, it comes up, you're still not doing anything right now. As it comes up, it comes back down. This is your break of structure. This is your weak to strong hand. This is what I call that. This is what I call this, my weak to strong hand. So this is my sign of strength. This here, my sign of strength. It just shows that price could start to make a reversal. And then you're not taking any risky trades. You're still waiting. You see price comes up now, comes back down, eventually comes back into this area. Now you can start to look for your sales in this area, because you're now looking for, you don't want price to now break this area. If price could potentially break that, but you're hoping it doesn't. If it does, then this would be your next area that you're looking for price to now continue down. And now you're seeing it come up, now creates a new low. So now it's created a new low. So this would be, after it's did this would be your high here, because this is the low. The pullback, this would still be your high, sorry. And this would be your low. So this is your overall, that is your bigger one. But now if you're looking at price structure, smaller time frames, this, we'll play this on. Now it creates, creates your new low, so that's your low now. This is your high, because this area here is the area. You can see price makes its move down, creates its pullback, comes back down, and it now creates a new low. So as soon as price creates a new low, you could even do it from here. just to make it really subtle. Push it down, that's your high. You can see price comes down to create a new low, so now that is your now lower high. See, it holds it here, it comes down to make a new low, so now that is your lower high. Now that's your lower low. You're looking for price not to break this, you're looking for price to hold this area and continue further down if it does want to continue on the downtrend. See, price breaks that now, so that's your sign of weakness, your sign of strength. Sorry, this is your sign of strength. This push up. You see the break of structure now. As soon as I see that break of structure, now I'm labelling my supply and demand area. This is my area here that I'm wanting price to come into. I want it to hold. I want it to hold that area, and then I can buy that area in. We're probably seeing, you can see in that area you've got your potential order block in this area as well for your bigger time frames. So that could be already an area that you're looking at somewhere in here on your higher time frames that you're looking for price to come into anyway. So now you've got that confluence potentially on that 5 or the 15, that there is an area, a supply and demand area here. You've got price coming down to that area, breaking structure. So that's another confluence for you. You're now looking for your third confluence, which is your tapping into this supply and demand area. And then we're looking for price now to blast out of that. We're now looking for price to hold this area, take your trade, and then continue. See that? As soon as that happens, as soon as I see that candle there, and then this blue one here, I'm in that trade. My stops are just below, risking 0.25% or half a percentage. First take profits back up here, seconds back up here, and then your third's up here, and then you'll let the rest run. Again, this is Friday, this is 8 o'clock, so you're not really expecting much. This will be a quick trade if you are. See, boom, first take profit hit. Second take profit hit. Now you're just letting the rest run. Just take off most of your percentage. See, price is kind of bobbling around that area. Finally breaks. Did it come? This is the end of the night. Yeah. So, I'd still, if this wasn't the end of the night, you can see price was looking to come and break the highs, which we've set over here for or bigger. But again, you can break this down. This is the key thing, is you can break it down, and you can find, once you understand. Let's actually hop on the 5 and see if we do have a supply and demand area here. Yeah, as I suspected, you see this last push down. So that was perfect confirmation for me that I'm buying that right there, because you've got your 5 minute supply and demand, you've got your tap into it, you've got your break of structure. Then you're looking for your retest. You don't want to buy, this is the thing, you don't want to buy straight off this hitting the supply and demand, because it could come back up to here and continue lower. You want to wait for your other confluence, even though sometimes it will tap your supply and demand and it'll fly away, but a lot of the time on the 1 minute it'll come back down and hold that area. And even if price came up here, broke that structure and came a little bit lower and didn't hold that area, that's still a fine buy with me, because it's in my structured area. It's broke structure up here, it's just sign of strength. So as long as price stays in my supply and demand area, then that's fine by me. I'm taking that trade, and I'm in that trade. First take profit back up here, my second one's up there. So you can just see, using your 5 minute and your 1 minute on US30, I don't like going any higher. If I'm using the 1 hour, I'm just finding my bigger supply and demands on my 1 hour. But I'm staying on the 5 and I'm staying on the 1 minute, and that's me, and that's how I'm trading it. I won't look at really the 15 or the 30, because you see US30 kind of just moves in a straight line a lot of the time, which you can kind of catch on the lower time frames. There will be your supply and demand areas, which you've seen. So that would have been a perfect area for me that I would have bought in. That would have been a lovely trade. Even if you're buying, your stops can be just below your supply and demand if you want to keep it safe. First target's up there for a 4, second target's up there for a 6. So you're still making 6%, and you're letting the rest run, which I wouldn't have let the rest run on this trade, but if it was a better trade, I would have let the rest run. But that's kind of what I'm looking for when I'm coming into a supply and demand area. I'm looking for price to break my structure, the trend that's coming into. If it's coming on a downtrend into my overall higher time frame supply and demand area for an uptrend, I'm looking for it to break that structure first on the one before I'm taking any trade, and then I'm looking for it to come into my supply and demand area or hold my overall supply and demand before I'm taking that trade, and then I'm buying, and that's me in. Again, they're not always going to win. You're not always going to win, but a lot of the time you will win. And if you're losing, you're not losing much, and you're making 5, 4, 5, 6, up to whatever percent you're making. Again, that gold trade, that was 180, and that was simple supply and demand on a 5 minute using the one. We'll see this again here, potentially. We'll have a look. Yeah, so this is a down trend. So this is what I'm looking for. My one, we're on the down. We're seeing this pullback now. Potentially got my supply and demand areas somewhere in here. My last push up before my push down. You see price taps in. Now this is what I mean by I won't take my trade straight away, and sometimes it works, sometimes it won't. So I won't just take my trade because it taps into here on the 1 minute. I will wait for my structure to be broke. So this would be my structure, my last low. You see price does come down and break that, but then it continues further down and creates a new low here. Now I'm looking at my areas. We've got this big push up here. This could be my area that I'm looking for price to come into. Okay, now it's happened again. Right, let's see. It's tapped in. Still not taking this trade straight away. This is my last low here. My last low is here. Okay, now we've got that low. What are we waiting for? We're now waiting for price to come back in my supply and demand area. Okay, where's my supply and demand? From the top. This last push up. Okay, price taps in. Creates a double top, that's fine. In my supply and demand area, taking this sell. Where's my sell? Somewhere in here, whatever. Stops just above that supply and demand, just above it. 75 targets. First target's back down at these lows for a 3.6. Second target's down here for a 5.47. Third target's back down at my lows here for a 8. See price taps in, doesn't create a new low because this is the overall low, and then continues further up. So this would be my area, but potentially we'll probably see gold come down to break these lows. If we're continuing this downtrend, I'm looking for gold to come down and break my lows here, these lows. I'm looking for price to come down and break. Potentially this will be my protected high for right now. That'll be my protected high for now. This is a 1 minute, remember, so it doesn't always have to happen. You see, we've got your breaking structure. This last higher low before creating a higher high. You see, price comes down and breaks that. So I'm now potentially looking for a price to come in to either here or here to then continue further down. What we can do now, we can use our volume profile from the top here to the bottom. Yeah, so now looking at that, you see the low volume. We'll probably see price come back into up here because of that. This will be an area that people will be looking to sell at. But again, there's these areas up here that the price will potentially look to come and liquidate these areas first before continuing down. So I'll probably see price, if it does want to continue going lower, come up to here before breaking these lows and going further down. But again, overall I'm bullish, so we'll wait to see what happens. If this does hold in, there's potential for sales. Again, we're very strongly low, so even if it does, if you want to go bullish on this gold right now, I'd wait for that break of structure here. I'd wait for that. Again, on the other hand, you can see if you're bullish on this, you're hitting your supply and demand area, you've tapped in, you're pushing up. So now that you are bullish, because we're scalping, you don't need to be biased on any way you want to go. If you're seeing this here and you're seeing this pullback, this could be an area where you're looking for price now to come and come up to here. So that could be another trade you take. Again, this is 10 o'clock, so you wouldn't really want to take this, but if again on the 1 hour or something, this area here is a supply and demand area, that's potential. There's potential that, yeah. So you see, this probably is an area here that is a supply and demand. You see price comes up, it makes a low, comes back down into that low and starts to continue up. So there is potential that this now does go further up than this. Potential that this starts to create a high now. We'll look at it here. Yeah, we need to see how gold opens, but there's now potential. There's a big imbalance. There's potential that gold wants to go bullish now, way higher. Again, I think gold will go bullish overall in the higher time frames, but just looking at this is a 1 hour, you can see this could be a potential area that price starts to now continue higher if that's what it wants to do. We'll probably again use this volume profile from the bottom to the bottom. I don't think we've seen much here. Yeah, so there's not really much volume here. This could be potentially an area people would look to sell at, but there's low volume, so price could potentially look to continue further up first, which I'll probably think we'll see happen. Probably see price continue further up. That's the biggest drop off. Just depends on how it opens. I think it's meant to open now, but we'll see. But that's really the straightforwardest way. Oh, lovely. Oh, somebody made a perfect trade. Yeah, so that's kind of the straightforward way I'll look for price. Look at how to take my my buys and my shorts. Simple supply and demand. There's all in the strategies if you want to kind of look at it in a better detail. This volume indicator, I'm new to it anyway. But yeah, it's really just looking for that last push down before the push up, or that last push up before the push down, and finding my structure. I've got time this week if anyone's wanting any one-on-ones that we'll go over. We can look at charts and look to take trades and stuff like that if any's want to message me after this. But if you've got any questions, just type in the comments, let me know in the Discord. If not, we'll cap it at that. Go to my bed, and we'll be up for tomorrow. We'll try and get some trades in. Leave it at that. Any questions? We're good.